Hey guys, welcome back to the Dr. Cloud Show. I know we're a few minutes late here getting started. I had some technicality difficulties, probably more to do with my abilities than any of the equipment. But it's good to have you. I hope you're not having any technical difficulties with the real equipment that matters. You know, this one up here, this hardware and software that you tote around on your shoulders every day, called your mind and your heart, your soul, and all that stuff. I guess a lot of that lives down here, right? Anyway, all of you, I hope all of you is thriving today. You know what? If you are new to this program, what we do is you can call in and we can talk. We can talk about all that stuff. What's in your head, what's in your heart, what's in your gut, and just how your life is going in all those different ways. And, you know, if you take that life and you extend your hand and you start shaking hands, how does that work? I can get it on the screen. Now you start shaking hands with somebody else and you establish a relationship, right? And we talk about relationships on here and how those work. And also, see that vast ocean, that blue sky behind me? Well, you know what? That's where dreams are made of. You look out there over the horizon of your life and you look at how things are now and you say, let's go way out there and let's find something new. And I hope you've got some dreams that are still alive, even though we're going through some hard times. Many of you have had some dreams that have been right there in your gut for a long time, hadn't quite made it out. One of my favorite phrases, I wrote this in a book called Nine Things You Simply Must Do. And one of those nine was dig it up, dig it up. And I want to talk for a few minutes here about that concept of dig it up. Now, where did that come from? Well, before I do that, I'm going to give the phone number again. Did I give the number yet? It's 844-940-2274. 844-940, I'm sorry, 277. Did I say that wrong? I am on my glasses. You'd think I would have memorized this number by now, right? 844-940-2774. 844-940-2774. Dig it up. Where does that come from? Well, one of my favorite and most encouraging and in so many ways inspiring and in so many ways explaining life and in so many ways actually frightening stories in the Bible is called the parable of the talents. The parable of the talents. Now, for those of you who don't know this story, it kind of goes like this. Sort of, you know, a master, you know, called it the boss, had this big, whatever you want to call it. And there were three different people, and he gave them each a different number of talents, right? And to one of them, he gave 5, and to another one, he gave 2, and to another one, he gave 1. And he basically said, here, invest these talents, and I'm going to go off on a trip, and I'm going to come back and see how you did. And so he goes off on a long journey, and he comes back and goes up to the one that has 5, had 5. He said, so what'd you do with the talents I gave you? And he said, well, look, I put them to work and I invested them and I used them. And now I've made into 5 more. I've doubled it. It's doubled. And he turns to him and he says, well done. Good job. Good job. Good and faithful servant. And you know what? I'm going to even give you more because you've shown yourself to be, you know, like trustable, right? And then he goes to the one that gave him 2 and he said, so what happened with you? And he said, well, I used it. Look what I did. And I took the 2 and I turned it into 2 more. And he said, well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master. Let's go celebrate this. And he says, you know, he gives him more. And then he went to the one that had 1. And he said, so what happened? He said, well, basically paraphrase, he said, I was afraid. And I was afraid that, you know, you're like such a critical, harsh judge. I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to make a mistake. And so I just took mine and I hid it. I buried it in the ground. I protected it. Basically, I played defense. And so I still got it. Here it is. And then he's the one that got scolded for not doing anything with his talent. And the master says, I'm going to take yours away and give it to somebody who's going to actually use it. So when I started this, what I said was, it's one of the most incredibly, it explains so much about the way life works. And it's inspiring. And it's also very scary. And what I mean by it explains a lot how life works. Well, let me give you the big kind of way that, I want to focus on there for a minute. Is that not all of us have the same amount of talent and ability and resources. And, obviously everybody's got different amounts of stuff. Um, I'd love to play the piano. I tried, worked out about as far as it could go. That was, a couple of years with a cat lady lived in my town, and she was my teacher. And finally, she liked her cats better than me and threw me out. I wasn't any good, but my sister now, she had some talent, and she played, and she became, you know, performing musician in a lot of ways. I didn't have that talent. We didn't have the same amount. We didn't have the same amount in every area. And there are different people in every field that are like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, different amounts. So to me, it kind of explains that. Not only that, but here's what I love about it. And this is where I want you to get over something, folks. Get over comparing yourself to other people, because we're not all the same. We don't come from the same backgrounds. We don't have the same woundedness. We don't have the same abilities. Some people are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Some people are born with a deck stacked against them. And for any of us to look at anybody else and compare, it's just crazy. I mean, it's like an apple looking to an orange and saying, why aren't I orange? We just can't do it. And I love how the parable shows that, because it says this, that the one that had two and used what they had got the same reward that the one that had five and used what they had. See, that's what's cool. It's not, you know, only one person gets the Olympic gold, but if everybody along the way did their very best with what they have been given, that's really how we win. That's how we win. And the one with the five can't turn to the one with two and said, I got more than you. Well, you started with more. Can't do that. But they turn to each other and celebrate together and high five each other that they both ran the race and did really well in that way. Now, I can't answer the question why some people get five and other people get two. I don't know. But I do know this, that whatever we got, if we don't use it, we lose it. And that's all the way down to the cellular level. It's built into the universe. It's in the cellular level of your body. And any muscle we don't use starts to atrophy. Any cognitive ability we don't use, it starts to weaken. It's one of the ways we can actually get over bad habits. You stop using it, and it, weakens over time. You use it, it grows. You don't use it, you lose it, which gets us down to the person that had one. And he was afraid. Now, here's what I mean by this parable explains a lot about life. And I know this has been true in my life. And it also invites us to incredible releases from the prisons that we find ourselves in. And here's what I mean by this. The one that had one was the one that was most afraid. And what do we do when we're afraid and we don't do something to take a step? Then we stay stuck where we are. That's just the way it works, right? I'm about to have knee surgery pretty soon here. Y'all gonna have to nurse me through that. And you know what they told me? Like, they're gonna amputate my leg, basically. You get a knee replacement, they just kind of they chop it off, right? That next day, that next 2 days, that next 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, they said, they told me that they already said, this is not going to be fun. That surgical nurse is going to come that next morning and say, all right, out of bed, you got to move that thing. And it is going to hurt. It is going to hurt so bad, they say, that you're going to wish you hadn't had it. but you've got to do it. And the more you use it, the stronger it's going to get. And then you're going to be able to get back to your normal life. But see, when we hit that pain, we hit that fear, what do? We move backwards and we protect ourselves and we stay stuck. Now, here's the other thing that it explains, which to me is one of the most brutal warnings for all of us in the story, is picture yourself as the whole army here. Picture yourself as, let me check on that. Yeah. Picture yourself as the whole army. In other words, there are some areas you've got 5 abilities. There are some areas you got 2, some areas you got 1. You may be really gifted. You may be really, really gifted in some area in making friends or whatever. And you do that and you just make more and more friends. And you got another area where you got 2, maybe it's in some aspect of your job, and you use it and not just, as good as somebody else, but you use it and you make advances, all that. But there's this one area of life where you weren't given much. Maybe you got abandoned early on. You weren't given 5 talents of love. And so now you're afraid really to be vulnerable with people because you weren't given 5. You were only given 1, just a little bit. And relationships scary. So I'm gonna protect that. Well, then we stay isolated and we don't connect. Maybe you weren't given, very many talents in boundaries. Maybe your no muscle was weak, or you got violated or broken. What do? We're scared, so we protect it. So here's the phrase I started with. Let's dig it up. Dig it up, dig it up. Whatever little piece we got, if you got a boundary muscle, it's only that big. Let's dig it up and start to use it. Go through the drive-thru at McDonald's and say, no, I don't want a hot apple pie with my fries. That may be the biggest step you ever took, right? Start saying little bitty no's and build those boundaries and start being vulnerable in little safe places and establish more relationship. Start, the next step in reaching a goal. Take a little bitty step, but don't bury it in the ground. Let's get past this fear and let's dig it up, because that's how we get better. And on this show, that's what we're going to do. We're going to encourage each other to dig it up. Dig it up. Whatever we're afraid of, let's dig it up, and we're going to use it so we don't lose it. All right. So a little word for the day as we start. We're going to go to, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm in a different spot today. I came to my office today because I had to do some stuff. And so that's why it took me a little while to get organized, and don't have all my tools here. But we are going to talk to Leah, who's calling us from South Carolina. And I'm going to give out the number again because I didn't do a great job of that in the beginning. So all of you can call. This is the hour that you can call in. The number is 844-940-2774. That's 844-940-2774 to call in and get on the program. This is the hour you can call in, but you can listen to it 24/7. They're on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. It sits there and you can make comments and join the community. And we like that because everybody's forming an army here. And also they're forming an army on boundaries.me. So go to boundaries.me and sign up for the free couple of weeks, and you can try it out and see if it doesn't give you some answers about all the stuff we talk about, how to get better, how to take the next step in a relationship or fear or bad relationship. Boundaries.me. Okay, Leah, welcome to the program.
Hey, Dr. Cloud, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Where are you calling from?
I'm from South Carolina.
South Carolina. You know what? I'm in trouble today, Leah. I am in trouble. I heard it in the intro. I don't know if y'all heard it, but I just got off the phone talking to a really, really good friend of mine, one of my best friends in life, has been since boyhood. And I was talking to him. He was in Mississippi, and by the time I got off the phone, I knew I was just talking like I was back home. And now you call me from South Carolina.
That's right.
I'm gonna see my family later, and they're gonna say, "Where have you been?" Anyway, so
that's right.
That's how it works. So how can I help you?
That's right. Well, first of all, thank you. I am a subscriber to boundaries.me, and it's been such a help.
Now
thank
tell
you.
me what do you like the most about it? What do you like most about boundaries.me?
Well, growing up, we could not afford counseling. My
Yeah.
family, we never had the luxury of going to a clinical counselor.
Yeah.
And I just turned 30, and this is the first time where I'm actually getting real like clinical counseling, and it's a blessing that I can afford. And I love how affordable it is, and it's stuff that is applicable. And my husband works at a boys' home. They actually just
Yeah.
gave him permission to use your material at the boys' home because it's
From
so applicable
boundaries.me.
to. Well, not from boundaries.me, from the public stuff you got. But we personally
Okay.
are subscribed to boundaries.me. So
Well, I'm
we
so
just use the
glad that you're a
public
member of
stuff
that
there.
community. So glad. So
Yes.
glad. It's a great group of people on there too. So tell me how I can help you today.
Well, I'm going to go against the grain today. I actually have a great marriage. I just talked about, we work with the homeless. My husband's done stuff with missions, over the seas and some church plants.
God bless you.
And it's awesome. I'm very grateful that I got that 80%, as a Christian, but there's that 20%. And basically what I'm calling about is I think the problem that we face as wives, Christian wives, is that, we get applauded and uplifted for doing good deeds, like helping the community. But it seems that there is some kind of, I think there is some kind of resistance when it comes around conversations about intimacy within the confines of marriage. It's almost kind of demonized within, not just with the church, but sometimes with your family. It's just not talked about. It's not.
Now, what kind of intimacy are you talking about?
Well, I'll just give some examples. I feel like intimacy, and not even just even dating. Like, for example, me and my husband having a glass of wine, for example, is it can be looked down upon in the Christian community. And as long as, of course, yeah. I mean, I honestly,
wait a minute. Hold on a second. Wait, hang on, Leah. I got to ask you this. So,
okay.
Now is it looked down upon because you and your husband are having a date, or is it looked down upon because you're having a glass of wine?
Well, in some churches, drinking is just completely, it's not right.
So it's a drink. Yeah.
But I mean, that's a part of the intimacy,
Oh, wait a minute. You
okay.
I don't know of churches where 11:15 on Sunday morning everybody's sitting there in the pew with a glass of wine, but I know a lot of churches where people go to church on Sunday and then that night they're out at a restaurant with their husband or wife having a glass of wine. What's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you do that?
Some churches honestly are just,
they follow you around. They got the little wine police going around town.
Well, see, now we got Facebook, and you put your little date night picture on the computer, and
I got you.
Let's say you got some flirty clothes on, and that was another one, like how you dress,
flirty,
and of course,
flirty clothes.
For Leah, a date night with the husband.
I want you to come to my church. You can come to my church and go have your glass of wine and wear your flirty clothes. Come on. I love it.
For the date, not for the service. But you know what I'm saying, like.
Well, I know what you're saying. Wait a minute, but hang on. For those who don't know what we're saying.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna give a quick little Bible lesson on this. All right, and then we'll get to the specific question. You think of your specific question. All right.
Yes.
Somewhere along the line, probably. Well, we won't go into the history of all this, but some people think that that some people of the Christian persuasion think that drinking at all is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you go, I don't know where they got that. They didn't get it from the Bible. Okay, The Bible does not say that at all. It does say a lot. Like the Beverly Hillbillies and all of our neighbors, even at the nice restaurant you go to, it says that getting drunk and crazy and out of control is wrong. But anybody would say that, right? And it's just throughout there. And I'm gonna tell you something you might not know. You go to like Colossians 2, for example. It actually says Now that you realize that God accepts you in a relationship freely, it says, do not subject. This is what the Bible says. Go to Colossians 2 and read it. Do not subject yourselves to rules such as do not handle, do not taste, like all this do not drink. It says, because it looks like it has wisdom, but it's human made rules that are of no value against teaching self control. And we know that in a number of areas. And then way over there, you go to Romans 13, 14, and here's what it says. It says that some people, though, do have a problem with it, and we should respect them and their
Yes.
freedom to not drink. But it also says that whatever your opinion is on this, on either side, keep it to yourself. That's what the book of Romans says. So we can't be putting rules on anybody else. They can't put rules on you that you can't have a glass of wine with your husband. They can't, if you're stumbling around, you take your flirty dress and start dancing on the table, then I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you, Leah. You say, you can't be swinging from the lampshades out in public. That's not good. But, all right. So I respect people that don't drink. I respect people that do drink.
To realize.
There you go. All right.
And thank you for clarifying that.
It's just the Bible, right? And again, I don't want to get a lot of angry letters from people that don't drink, but because I do respect people's freedom to not drink. The other thing you have to be careful of is you don't want to hurt anybody, and you're with somebody that's got a problem and they're in recovery and they're an alcoholic, and then we don't. But any good friend would do that anyway. Okay, so that's way down a different path. Tell me what your question is.
So basically, as you can see, like the way we were kind of brought up, I kind of think now it's affecting our marriage. And honestly, I believe that my marriage is too modest and romantically immature for me. And I just made that. But,
romantically immature. That's an awesome term. I think I got to.
I made that up.
I got to coin that. We're having a show on romantic immaturity. All right. So what's your question? What is your question?
So for people of faith who have come from backgrounds where good deeds are applauded, but things like this are demonized, how can we freely and boldly build a better romantic or intimate marriage without shame, guilt, and fear? And particularly for me, am I bad for being the less conservative one in the marriage when it comes to romance? And honestly, is it bad that I get jealous when I listen to love songs and look at movies with a little bit of romantic element and feel like, man, I just wish, we could be this bold and not be afraid? Is that bad for me? I know that's kind of 3 questions. I can repeat it.
That's really good. No, there's some good things in there. And then I'm going to answer them specifically and give you a couple of steps, and then I'm going to have to talk to some other people. But I may rent an arena and have you hold some seminars on this.
Come on, put you up. I was join.
I'm gonna put you up on. I'm gonna put you up on the stage. I'm gonna put you on the stage in your flirty dress and hold seminars for wives. All right, that's what we're gonna do. So here's the thing. I think that a lot of times, when people grow up in different kinds of backgrounds, this is a good thing in that God has wired us to internalize the sort of the norms of the culture that we grow up in. That's how we internalize God's ways. That's how a kid learns, we don't lie, we don't cheat, we don't steal, all of this. But what happens is sometimes in some cultures, they have all sorts of rules. It's not just sexual, but there's, a lot of others. How you talk to people, don't tell them the truth. You got to be nice, all those sorts of rules that aren't anywhere in the Bible. And so one of the things that I would suggest to you is that you talk to him and you make it part of a broader discussion and say, you know what, I really, really love, I love it. And I got the 80% with you, honey. I'm glad that we're on the same page with our faith. What I would like for us to do is let's go through all these different areas of life. Okay. Let's go through all these different areas of life, like finances and having fun and, what we do for hobbies and how we spend our time and all of this stuff. And let's just ask the question, where are we being restricted a little bit by the models
Mm,
that we had instead of the scriptures? By
mm,
the models that we had instead of the scriptures. And then what I want y'all to do is I want you to go and read together the Song of Solomon. Have you ever read that book in the
mm.
Bible?
My husband talks about it, and I have
Well,
to get more into it.
yeah, you know what? He may be secretly talking about it because he might want to get more into you, because that's what that
Mm.
book is that book is all about. And so I just want you to put this in a discussion with him broadly about, you know what, we may have a lot more of cultural Christianity than we do biblical Christianity, because
Mm.
God has 4 words that he used
Mhm.
in the Bible that we put into one word. See, we use the word love. God used 4
Yes.
words that are translated love. One of them is brotherly love. One of them is the caring love of sacrificing and taking care of somebody. Storge. Another one is agape. That's that unconditional love. But the last one is eros. It's where erotic
Mm.
comes from. It's erotic love,
Oh.
and that's from God. Now, the church doesn't like that. But here's another thing: the church's word a lot of time for sex would be no. That's the Bible's word for
Mm.
sex, no. But the church spells it N-O, and the Bible spells it K-N-O-W. It says
Mm.
Abraham knew Sarah
Oh
and she
yeah.
conceived.
Hmm.
It's know. Intimacy
Yeah.
means to know each other fully. And I would want you to ask him, I want to know more about your sexual and romantic desire for me. I want to know more about
Mm.
your fantasy life and start to
Oh.
share that. And I want you guys to KNOW more than just, whatever the index card instructions say about the missionary position or whatever it is that,
Mm.
these kind of fences that y'all are in. Okay. I got to go, Leah. You got me talking about this stuff all day long, and I got other callers, and I would talk to you
That was
forever.
so good.
But I want you to take all that and play it back for your husband. And he is a lucky man. You're a lucky
Oh,
woman.
thank
Y'all are doing
thank
great
you.
things in life, and I hope that you go read the Song of Solomon. And people don't hear from y'all for about a week because you went and lost yourselves in la la land of romance. Okay, thank
Thank you
thank
so much, Dr.
thank
Cloud.
thank you for calling.
Sir,
Wear that flirty dress and tell him he's a lucky man. All right,
thank you
we
so
will
much.
talk to you. Okay, bye bye.
All
You
right.
know,
Bye.
bye bye. Leah has she's kind of uh what's the word, I keep using metaphors here that are totally Freudian slips, because I'm talking about more than sex here, and I got to find a way. She has let's just say she's opened up a big topic here that is one of my favorite topics in life, and that is that the way that religion and organized religion, you hear that term a lot, has has really gotten in the way of people's lives and of their life with God. God doesn't like religion. He doesn't. Religion is just a bunch of man-made rules that say keep all these rules and then you'll be good. Well, you know where that came from? That came from what was replaced and mankind had after they lost a relationship with God. And what he does is he comes along and he knocks on our door and says, hey, quit trying to earn your way to be good by not wearing that dress or not drinking this or not doing that or whatever. He said, I want a relationship with you. So come into a relationship with me and I'll forgive everything you ever done. And then I'll tell you what's going to hurt you and what doesn't. And I wrote a whole book about it. You can go read it there. You go to the New Testament and you are going to find that there's so much freedom there, and all this stuff you hear talked about is noise. John Townsend and I wrote a book called 12 Christian Beliefs That Will Drive You Crazy. The word Christian there is in quotes because it's stuff that has nothing to do with the faith that you hear in the church all the time. So anyway, I would want y'all to like enjoy life the way that God created it to be enjoyed. And he said, basically, you take all the rules and sum them up into two: to love God and love your neighbor as yourself. Let's live by those principles. Okay. Let's go back to the phones. And let me see. I got, I'm in a little different setting here this morning. I usually have my calls coming here right in front of me. And now they're way, way, way across there. Let me see where we are. Okay. We're going to go to Nashville and we're going to talk to Charlene. And I think up on the deck after that is Elias, who's calling us from Vancouver. But let's go talk to Charlene in Nashville. I can keep the Southern accent thing in my bloodstream here. Charlene, how are you?
Hey, well, I don't have an accent. I'm from California, but I'm loving it here in Nashville.
I'm in California. And I'm from back there. So we need to, swap here. So how can I help you today?
Maybe. Well, first of all, it's really great to talk with you. I've read several of your books, and one that really helped me was How to Get a Date Worth Keeping. I am one of those believers. I'm 38, and I'm one of those believers that was very spiritual and was like, God's going to bring me somebody, and felt that he had spoke to me when I was 27, that I was going to meet someone when I was 34, and not to go on the apps, not to really look, just to kind of let him take care of it. And then I had a pretty rude awakening when I woke up at 35 and was like, oh, shoot, I was wrong. And so your book really helped me because it's really focused on taking action and really getting out there and meeting people. So I moved to Nashville last year to really meet some really nice Southern guys. And I've started going on lots of dates. I've had 2 boyfriends. That I never had a boyfriend before till I moved here. So thank you so much. But my question is, I've been going out with men, a lot of them that I just haven't been physically attracted to. And most of them I've met from dating apps because it's been hard to find people in person and strike that up. And my question is, should I keep going on dates with people that I'm not attracted to? Because when I've done that, it hasn't changed. I might have known from the picture, but I would give it a chance anyway, or go out a few times, because I know you say go out 2 to 3 times. Yeah. Sometimes I'll go out once. Sometimes I'll give it a few times. Should I keep going on dates with people I'm not attracted to? And then how can I attract men that I'm really attracted to? And what are some internal beliefs that might be stopping that from happening? Because I see guys I'm really attracted to online, and they tend to not click on me or swipe on me, or I see people in person and I try to look at them and make eye contact, and it seems like they're not interested, and it's painful for me. So those are my 2 questions.
Okay. It's a really good question. It's in fact, I actually talk about that in the book. A lot of times it can go into 3 or 4 issues. Sometimes people will be, they sort of have a type, that's fixed in their head, and a type a lot of times is fraught with a lot of problems, because we build types a lot of times out of playing defense. Like, there's some wound, or there's some reason why we're attracted to that type, and it really has more to do with trying to finish some dynamic in our lives and getting to know a real person. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that, it's normal human to be attracted to, some people and not others. That's the way God made it. You go in the Bible, and they got to choose, go pick the one you want, and all of this kind of stuff. And, apart from the arranged stuff. So anyway, here's what I would say to your question. I would want you to go out with all sorts of different kinds of people, because for a couple of reasons. The short answer is, I want you to go out with people you're not immediately attracted to, for 2 reasons. One is that I want you to get past the physical. I'm not telling you it doesn't matter. I want that to be there. Okay. But I want you to get past it so you can also begin to get attracted to other aspects of what a person is. All right. So what happens a lot of times, people fall in love because of physical attraction, and then they get into this deal, and they open up the trunk and there's lions and tigers and bears in there, right? a person's outside, I think I said this in the book, a person's outsides may be what you're initially attracted to, but their insides is what you're going to experience over time. You're going to experience their personhood. So that's why you hear so many people, and I'm not trying to talk you out of physical attraction. It's very, very important in that kind of relationship. But sometimes that's the first thing. I want you to learn, okay, I might be attracted to tall or short or fat or skinny or blonde or redheaded or whatever. There's a physical part of this. But I also want you to be able to also find these parts of yourself that would wake up about other qualities. Like somebody's, wow, they're really funny. That kind of turns me on. I've never been, or they're really smart, or they're really caring, or they're compassion, or they're really gentle, or they're really assertive. They take risks, and I want you to kind of start to get some chemistry around other aspects of personhood, because that's really important. I don't want you to take attraction and put it down a funnel to where it's all got to land in this one quality of person that's physical. That's another reason. Now here's a third reason. Third reason is this, that many, many times, and I've heard this 1,000 times, that somebody says they started going out with somebody and they weren't attracted to them. They weren't attracted to them on the dating site, but they read the book. The book says you got to go out. And they started to get to know them. I was talking to a couple the other day, and they were telling me, she goes, I never would have thought I'd be, attracted. I said, I went out, but there was something like, I just wanted to see him again. And I wasn't attracted to him, but there was something. And I went back with again. And then I found myself like wanting to talk to him. And then slowly, she's falling head over heels in love, and the physical came later. So you see it happening both ways. I just don't want you to shut the door, and I want you to be growing. That's the main thing.
Okay.
But people tell you that chemistry isn't important. That I disagree. It's really, really important. Otherwise, you're just friends. I said earlier, there's 4 words for love in the Bible, and eros is one of them. So it's got to be in the picture. And think about these 4 words, okay? The 4 C's in your dating life. Now, I'm not talking about to go out. You go out to find out how many of these C's are there. But there is the character of the person. I want you to start and fall in love with character. There's the competency of the person. I want you to fall in love with people that are good at life. They're good at something. They're not just wearing their skinny jeans playing video games all day. Can't have no talents or pursuits or brains you want some competency, right, as a partner.
Yeah, I do.
And then thirdly, there's the chemistry. Character, competency, and chemistry. And then fourthly, important to look at, is the culture. It doesn't mean if you come from different cultures that it won't work, but it does mean that both of you have to be able to operate in each other's cultures. I've seen people from very wealthy families, for example, marry somebody from a very poor family, and it works fine because they're both comfortable in whatever scenario, or different nationalities or different religious backgrounds. We don't have to be the same. No, that's ridiculous. But we do have to be able to live in and operate. I need to be able to go to your family. You need to go to my family, and we kind of be okay, right? And it's got to not something that we're trying to change each other more. So look at those 4 C's. And, and while you're down there in Nashville with the culture, eat some turnip greens for me, and some black-eyed peas and some cornbread. Get that part of the culture. I want you to fall in love with a guy who knows how to eat, because you're from California, and I moved out here, and you take a bite out here of a vegetable and it makes a sound. I never had experienced that. I want to go back to the South.
So true.
We have silent vegetables because I'm cooking all day.
Oh, the hot chicken here. Right. I had never had hot chicken. It is good. The hot chicken here is really good.
There you go. See, California doesn't
Can you
know
hear
what it's
me?
talking about, do they? That's
No.
good.
Can I ask
All
a
right. Well,
quick question before I
thank you
go?
for your call. I hope you if
Henry,
it's quick, because I want to get some other callers. I took way long on my intro rant. Yeah. Are you there?
No, yeah, I'm here. I just wanted to know in terms of
Whoops.
when I'm out and about trying to meet 5 people a week and trying to talk to people in person, is there a way to like talk to an attractive guy? Because when I try to do that, I seem like I'm becoming aggressive, or that nervousness comes up of like, I don't know if I'm good enough for this guy that I am attracted to. And that's why I just wanted to ask you, should I just press past that and just be friendly?
There you go. You've got to get into the anxiety moment, talk to people you're attracted to, and sit there and remember this is just a person, and work on staying in that anxiety moment to where all of a sudden Leah comes out and he's going to go, whoa, who is this? See, before he's not seeing all of Leah because the anxiety is keeping you from being out there to where he would be attracted to you. See, that's an unconscious dynamic where this is what I was saying earlier about way more than just looks, where somebody's personhood is very, very tangibly feelable. Their internal beauty, brains, wit, sexuality, all of that stuff, it's unconscious. It's got to show up. And what anxiety does is it represses and suppresses you. And so he's not even, when you're talking, he's not even experiencing you. So that's why you got to practice and get over this anxiety. Okay.
Got it.
You may want to
Okay.
talk to a
Thank you.
counselor about that. All right.
Okay.
I got to run. Got to talk to
Thank
some
you.
other people.
Thanks so
Call
much,
me
Henry.
back and send me some turnip greens. All right.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Bye.
Thank you. You know, I tell you guys, bye-bye. I tell you guys, we just have the best audience in the world. I want y'all hanging out together on Facebook. And some of you, I bet some of you have a story that you're madly in love with somebody that you weren't initially attracted to. I want you to share that for Leah on Facebook, because she needs to learn that. Okay, that's a good thing. She needs to learn that. And also find out, some of you found out the person you were initially attracted to had this whole wealth of incredible things inside that you never knew they had, but you took your time and you just didn't hop into it too quick. Okay, so that's the way all of this works. So we're going to go, I think we said, let me see, we were going to, who did I, Albie, can you tell me who's next? Can you text me and tell me? Because I said somebody was on deck there. Now we got a bunch more names.
Hey, Henry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to jump in. Yeah, we're having some connection issues. We're going to go to Elias from Vancouver.
Okay. Let's go to Elias. Where's Elias calling us from Vancouver? Okay, there we go. Thanks, Albie. Sorry about the technical problems. Elias, welcome to the Dr. Cloud Show.
Hello. Hey, Henry. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good, man. Thank you for taking the call. Or Albie, thank you for taking the call. Yeah, I'm on Vancouver Island. I don't live in the city of Vancouver, so I'm separate from the mainland here. Grew up in Santa Cruz County in California, a little bit north of you. Yeah, so the reason for my call, I was like struggling to try to find a question, honestly. Like I could talk forever about a bunch of issues, but I guess the biggest thing is that kind of choked up. I met my father for the first time in 2006.
Wow. And how old
when I
were
moved
you?
Here?
How old were you when you
30,
met him for the
I think I was 32, I think, 32.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who raised you?
My mom.
Just your mom. Oh man, sounds like there's a lot that you feel about this, and that's understandable for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty
Still
big.
there?
Dude. Yeah,
there?
it's pretty big. You're right. There's a lot to unpack in all this stuff. And when I moved here, I had just been married, and was with the woman for about a year and a half or so. I married her too quick, and that ended up falling apart. But on a road trip up, she was pregnant with our son, who's now 13.
Oh.
And but yeah, I don't know. Like this last, I've just gone in and out of depression, and
related to the pain around your dad.
Yeah, and relationship with my mom, and like just trying to figure out the story that they each tell me and what's real or what's not. And
what is the when you say you're trying to figure out the story, are you talking with your dad now? Have you guys reconnected? You have regular contact with him?
Yeah, I have, and like it's funny because it seems like what I've learned about my mom and the relationship that I had with her, like there was a huge kind of cover up. Like she ran away from him after they were married, and or they were never married, sorry, after they got together, and she got pregnant. Like she ended up ditching the area where she grew up in Palo Alto and then moved to Santa Cruz. And she, from what I understand, it sounds like she told my grandmother that, if my dad came looking for me, that if he was to find the information from my grandmother, that my mother would cut my grandmother out of my life or so. And my mom's always kind of hidden her phone number from the phone book. And I grew up
so
really kind of, yeah.
Your mother kept you.
Confusing,
if the facts are right, your mother really kept you from ever knowing your dad. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, that's what it seems. That's what it seems like. And if I was to ask her about it, like she kind of dodges the question or gets super angry. And my relationship with my mom is pretty much crap.
Oh, so y'all never really gotten into the conversation about this. She's just been dodged. You haven't really talked about it.
Yeah, and it's hard for me to get a direct question or to think of the right thing to say or ask. It's so unhealthy, man. Like, and I just really struggle now. Like, I ended up marrying a woman that was like kind of super manipulative and controlling and had similar life patterns or family patterns that I had without really realizing it. And my son now, who it's like a reflection of the same thing, but I'm just doing my best.
So does he live? Does your son live with you now? Does your son live with you now?
Part of the time he does, yeah.
And okay. All right. So we only have a minute here. So tell me, is there a specific question, or you just want me to give you some thoughts?
I don't really have a specific question though.
Okay.
I wish I did.
No, sorry. You know what? I can see how you don't have a specific question but I'm gonna give you some thoughts about that. Will that help? And maybe a little direction.
Yes, please.
One of the reasons I think you don't have a specific question is when there's so much, like it'd be like kind of picture, you're in a tornado or a dust storm, or things are flying around. You don't really know. If I walk into a room that's settled, and I got to kind of start to work on this room and clean it up, and there's a bunch of stuff sitting around. Oh, I got to clean this up. I'll put the shirts in the drawer over there, and I'll hang this up, and I go to work on it. Right? I know what my question is, because I can say, where did the pants go? Where did the shirt go? But what you're talking about so many moving parts and chaos in the way that you understood your life to be, that you kind of had this picture, this map of the way it worked. And then you find out, wait a minute, wait, I don't have a dad that never wanted anything to do with me. And I don't have a mom, at least the way it sounds like to you. And I don't have a mom that I can fully believe what she tells me about my own history. And now I don't have a real history that I know that I know where my feet land on the ground, and I don't even know where to start about who to ask what. And now it's affected my current relationship. You see what I'm saying? You got so much going on.
Yeah. Yeah, there's tons,
That
man. If I get going, it's just opens up so many things.
Now I want you to notice something, and I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to check this out with you. But I want you to notice when I started to describe all that chaos.
Yeah.
Did you notice? Did you notice what you did? About 10 seconds ago. Did you notice that?
I don't know. It felt like I kind of calmed down a little bit because it made me understand that it's a mess.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. You kind of calm down a little bit because now, did it make that mess go away? No, but you're in a relationship right now. Funny relationship we got here, Elias. You know, it's on an iPad from 2,000 miles away or something. It's kind of weird. Yeah. But even that, even that amount of you and I in this moment, you open up, you tell me your story. I kind of get it as much as I can get it in this moment, and we talk about it, and all of a sudden there's at least a few words to it, and now you can kind of put it in a place where you can look at it and you start to calm down. Okay. Now that's what I want for you. That's what I want for you this is what I was going to suggest. I didn't know that we would have it happen in the moment, but that's what I want for you in the big picture. So here's the number one thing that I want for you. There's 3 or 4 steps here, but number one is this, that you need a family. All right. And here's the deal. We can't choose our biological family, but we can choose our adult family, which is our spiritual family, our community. And in fact, when Jesus, they came to him and said, hey, your mother and your brother and your sister out there, he said, who are my mother and brother and sister? But those who do what God wants, the people that love and are honest and are supportive and all that. So I want you to find a really good community of people where you can have 1 million moments of what you and I just had, where you can start to tell your story. And some people there, a good counselor is where I would start, and a good support group, or just find this in your church or wherever. And I want you to get grounded there and start to tell your story. And they're going to help you put it into piles. And then the second thing I think you got to do is when you talk to your mom about this, go to her and say, look, I just need your help. I'm not accusing you of anything. But I need your help to understand my life. I just need your help. Can you tell me? Because Mom, you know what? I bet there's some reason that you had to do that. I'll understand that. I just need your help. I just need the story. And what you're going to find is, like you and your ex, there were different perspectives, right? And that's going to be confusing. And who's ever going to know the 100% truth? You're going to get a picture of the theme, but you're never going to know. None of us are there. And also, I want you to try to communicate to them that I also understand at some point, y'all were in a different place, and whatever you did what you did, I can forgive you, but I also have feelings about it. And I want you to understand how that's affected me and be able to tell your community about that. And so I want you to go process this with a good counselor, but get in a safe place first so you can start to put this into piles and put some names to it.
Yeah.
Then have the individual conversations in those ways.
Yeah, right. I really appreciate that. And like I kind of have begun some of that work. And
lose you.
Hello, can you hear me? And can you hear me now?
I got you. I got to go, but I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I really appreciate what you said.
So
I have kind of
begun for some reason I'm on a delay today.
Okay.
Okay. Well, good. Keep going. I hope that works out for you, but find that counselor and find that group and kind of go from there. Thank you for your call, Elias. I'm going to say this about you. I've said it about others, and I'll keep saying it. I love this audience. You guys are living life. You're working on it. Here's Elias. He could have taken a scenario like that and said, just heck with everybody. I'm unplugging. I'm going to turn bitter, and I'm going to be against everybody and everything. But he's not. He's walking around with that pain. Elias, what we didn't, I tell you to go see a counselor because also you said you get depressed about this. And sometimes, depression just, that needs to be treated. So when I say go see a good counselor, professional might be really, really helpful that this depression feels like something you can't get out of if it's not just related to when you're talking about this. But our audience is the best. I am so sorry about the technical problems we've had today. I don't know if that's because I changed venues and the internet here is maybe hurting. I don't know. But we had some difficulties. I haven't been having that delay on the program that we had delay today. So I don't know what that is, but we'll figure it out. And in the meantime, I do really, 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 really appreciate y'all joining in today and joining in the live hour. The callers, you make the show, right? The show is all about you and the stories that you bring. And Leah, I hope you're not listening anymore. I hope you've unplugged and you wrestled your husband into another room. Hope that's going well. And we just have a good time here talking about life. So thank y'all for that. Here's what I need from you. I need you to share the program with others because, again, we're kind of on I call it a trial period here, but, we're on lockdown and we can do this. And if we build an audience, we will continue to do this. But to build that audience, we don't have billboards and we don't run ads anywhere. And, we need you to tell people. So if there's something in this program that helps you and you think somebody else might benefit from it, then share the link. They can watch it 24 hours a day. You can tell them this afternoon and say, go look it up on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. It'll be there. And then remember, if you haven't done it yet, go to boundaries.me. Go to boundaries.me. And that's the online place where I become your coach. In all these areas of life we talk about, I've got all sorts of material that I put together in videos and little bitty teeny lessons about that you can look, got to go have a difficult conversation with that person that's doesn't listen. What do I do? And you can go look up that little video there and I'm going to coach you. And then you go have that conversation. And you're going to know what to do better. It's about life. So go to boundaries.me. There's close to 70 courses on there, and we're adding them all the time based on your suggestions, actually. And then there's group forums that you can join too. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. We're up against a weekend here. I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you Monday. I'm pretty sure Monday we are there at 1 p.m. Okay. So I will see you there. God bless. Bye-bye.